I've recently purchased the Mark II version of the Mckinnon varial ND filters. I've recently purchased the Mark II version of the Mckinnon varial ND filters. I've bought them both, so it goes basically from 2 to 9 stops, covers the entire range really, because what I'm wanting to do is shoot outside, and got a 24mm prime that shoots as low as 1.4, so if I can shoot wide open then I can get full usage out of these. I originally bought the first one, but I only bought the 6 to 9 stops. It came in this fantastic box. It's a beautiful piece of kit. The only problem really I got with it is I only feel that it just gets above 2 stops. You don't get the full 3 stops, so you are quite limited, especially with only having one. So the plan was to update it and buy 2 of the same at the same time. See if they've changed anything between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. I don't really want to cross over, so I don't want the signature 1 with the signature 2 in case there's any difference within the glass. So I went ahead and I bought this from the Polar Pro website. There's a little bit of discount on at the minute, so I managed to get these for £310. There was import charges on top of that, so I knew I had to buy that. So on the final page of the checkout it says you are held responsible for the customs and import, so your VAT's around 20%, so I got a bill for like 68 quid, so it all came in at under 380. With the original one of them, this was 280 on its own, so I'm happy with these. In a minute I'm going to go out into the field and we're going to test them and have a good look and see how good they are in comparison with the original. I thought the original box was fantastic. I really like this. It's actually as a display piece. It's been on my cabinet behind me and it just is superb. The presentation, so it comes like that. You have a little tag, opens up the box. Comes with a photo inside and then the layout, so you get the little case in there and the ND filter in there. So I've always been a big fan of that. And the new boxes, they come in these 2 little cardboard boxes. I'm a little disappointed in that really. It's they're like cheap biscuits really when you look at this and how fantastic this looks. The original comes in this pouch and then this protective case, which is absolutely solid. What I've done is I bought the 82mm, even though my lenses are all 77, I bought the 82, and then I just use step down rings. So this is an 82 to a 77 which fits all my lenses, and then you add this obviously to your camera. You've got your protective case and it comes in this rubber thing, so you never actually have to touch the glass. So as a protective measure and keeping the glass absolutely clean, you never have to touch the glass, which I love this. And that's been copied in the Mark II, which I'll show you now. The Mark II is a little bit smaller, and it's a screw thread, so it can not open on by accident. It can't open by accident. It's just a screw thread, and it's the same sort of thing. So that screws open, and then you just add it to your lens, screw again, and then take the rubber cap off. And as I said, you're never touching the glass. So I bought both of these, 2 to 9 stops, which is full range, and we'll see what we think. I'll compare it to Mark 1 and then we'll see if there's any improvement been made whatsoever. So I've nipped over into windy field and I'm going to shoot in manual. I'm going to test these filters. I've got Mark 1 and Mark 2. So if we're in manual, then you can see increments change within filter as I go through them. I've had a little trouble with this. I've never really got 3 stops out of it. I've got like 2 1/3 maximum, and I'm going to show you how it works and see what you'll think about it. So let's say, here we go, this is Mark 1, the 6 to 9 stops. So that's 6 stopper, and then I'm going to put a base on. So my camera's telling me that is at the exposure's level there, and that's at 2.2, and then I'm going to add a stop on. So that's 7 stops, and that should be 1 under. And it isn't, it's only 2/3. So we'll go again, that's at 8 stops, and that's just a little over 1. And yet again, we're going 9, and that's less than 2. So I never really got more than 2 stops of exposure with this. And obviously it sells it as a 3-stop variable, which it isn't, which is very disappointing. So I'm hoping there's a little more change in Mark 2. I'm going to put that on for you now, and we'll see how we get on. Right, that's at F16, and I'm going to put the Mark 2 on now. This is the 6 to 9 stops. It goes on fairly straightforward. We'll give you a base again, that's at 6 stops. And there we are, that's at 2.5. And then I'm going to add a stop. So we're going from 6 to 7. That should give me 1 stop over. Yep, that's about 1 stop. And that's at 8. That should give me 2. And that's fine, that. We're just rounded about 2. 9 stops. And then 9 stops, so I'm 3 under in this, which is fantastic. It's a lot more cleaner. There's a mechanical system on it where it clicks, so you can feel the stops click within your fingers. That wasn't available on the first one, so that is a major difference. So I'm really excited about that, because you're able to get to it quickly. You're able to feel the stops in your fingers. That's superb, that. I'm going to stick the second one on, which is the 2 to 5 stop. So there we are, I'm back at F16, just to give you a base. And then we're going to put the 2 to 5 stops on. Simply just unscrews from the case. You never have to touch the glass at all. So that's 2 stops. I'm going to give us a base again. And that's a base of F9. I'll be adding a stop on now. There we're at 3 stops. That should give us 1 under, and it does. That's absolutely perfect, that. And yet again, that's at 4 stops. That's absolutely spot on. That's 2 under. And then again, 3 stops. So there we are with 3 under with that. I'll bring it back to something level. The actual feel in your hand is superb, where you can feel it click from stop to stop. That's a superb feature. That I'm glad I've gone with these, because I want 2 that are the same. I don't want a Mark 1 and a Mark 2, so I purchased these. The original one was 180. This delivered to house. No, the original one was 280. The Signature one, the Signature 2. I bought both of them with customs, tax, delivery to my door. They cost me around 380. So I'm really happy with them. The original one's going to go on eBay, I'm afraid. There's no point having 2 that are the same. So right, I'm going to get back, I'm going to edit these. I'm going to put some in log, some with a colour grade on, so you can actually see what I'm doing. And we'll see how they look once they've been on to DaVinci and we've had a little edit with them. Right. So we've no filters on now, I'm back at F16. We're out in windy field. Weather is changeable, so that will give us a little bit of problems for NDs to solve. But as a recap, I'm really happy with this purchase. I think it's a superb piece of kit, and I'm looking forward to getting out and using it. I'm back over at Windyfield. I've got Pete McKenna Signature 1 and Signature Mark 2. I'm going to use higher ones, so I'm going to use them both at 6 stops. And I've also Lee Landscape setup for filters, neutral density filters. So I'm going to put that at 6 stops as well. So I've got all 3 at 6 stops, and then we're just going to see if there's any difference, any colour cast difference in between different filter setups. So anyway, I'll show you these and you can have a look. Well, it's been 3 days since I last spoke with you, and then 3 days has been spent in LRT time-lapse, obviously DaVinci, and then Lightrooms. So what's conclusion? What have we learned from tests that I've been doing? The Signature 2 is that well made and that good that it casts doubt really onto the Mark 1, because the Mark 1's terrible. There's a little bit of a colour cast, and there's no colour cast whatsoever, I don't believe, on the second one. The mechanical notch in your hand so you can feel it click from stop to stop is superb, giving you fantastic control over your exposure, so you feel like you're involved with it. What I did is I shot everything in RAW, and then I set the white balance to daylight, so the white balance in Lightroom is the same. So they all come through the computer the same. The only difference is the filtering which I used. So I used the Mark 1, the Mark 2, and the little stopper, which is 6 stops. So I set everything to 6 stops, shot everything in RAW, set the white balance in Lightrooms, and that shows you the difference within the colour cast. Like I say, I think the Mark 1 has a colour cast. It's nowhere near 3 stop, which is quite disappointing really, because I spent £280 on that, and I got the others for £380, so I got 2 of the new ones for £380, and the old one alone cost me £280, which is massively disappointing. When I was filming the time lapse, I was an hour before sunset, so the weather was changing and the colour in the sky was changing. I used the Canon 5D Mark IV, and I also use the 24mm prime, so that just gives you a look at what I'm actually using. What I'm shooting on now, I'm shooting on the GoPro 12, which I've done a video on this on the rig, which I'll be uploading that later. Anyway, thanks for watching me on this video, and I'll be making more content soon. Thanks a lot.